I'm going to run down and get them. Yeah. Hello. Good.
Check. Hello. Check. Can you hear me? I think so. It was green. It's green.
Good.
Green.
Green. Good. All right, let me check.
Testing.
Test. Hello. Good morning. I think that worked. Yeah. Turn this off.
Talking.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Test. Good morning. Test. Good morning.
Good morning.
Call to worship. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Here we are. Adam, you got me? There we go. With the sparkle of Christmas Eve still hanging in the air in this sanctuary, we, a smaller and mighty group, gather this morning with 31 households in the online pews. We gather in this cozy Sunday morning to be reminded of all that we have gathered up, all of the beauty of the holiday season, as well as the sorrow that we hold and the joy woven fine. And so all of that is welcome here at All Souls, where all souls are welcome. You are joyfully called on this cozy winter day. You are called to worship. I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit, and we'll join our voices in singing, "Come Now, Fount of Every Blessing." Nothing lifts our gloom and desperation more than turning to each other and offering to each other a greeting of peace. If you are here in the online pews for the first time, I invite you to let us know in the chat so that we may welcome you there. And if there is anyone new here at All Souls, I invite you to raise your hand so that we may welcome you. Ian, you are hardly new, but we are so happy to see you. So happy to see you. We see you. Hello, hello. And I saw other hands over here. Raise your hands again. I'm doing that terrible thing. Yes, I think back there. Yes. So let us turn to each other and offer to each other a greeting of peace. Let us make a joyful noise. We begin with our land acknowledgement. Let us focus our minds and hearts as we acknowledge the Nahantic, Mohegan, Mashantucket Pequot, and Eastern Pequot people as the traditional caretakers of the land on which we worship and work and live. We honor and respect these tribes and their ancestors and their lineage who today uphold traditional practices, art, and education. We begin, as we do every week, by lighting the chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, a symbol of freedom and liberation. Let us say these words together. Together, we light the way to a new year, that we may take a cup of kindness yet, that all the world might share. May peace prevail on earth with glad tidings to all. Thank you, Heidi. And Sally will light the peace candle this morning. It is really an interesting and wonderful year when all of these holidays converge on each other. And this year, Hanukkah and now Kwanzaa this week begins. And so you see a menorah and a kinara on our chancel. And so we hold the Jewish people, our siblings in that faith, and African American families and households throughout the country who honor a holiday, Kwanzaa, that honors and holds up the importance of community. And so may there be peace among all of these peoples. Amen. Amen. Today we're doing something a little bit different than we have done before, although we have shared this story in the past. It's been a long time since. And so Heidi and Sally are going to share the O. Henry short story called The Gift of the Magi. How many of you are familiar with this story? Yeah. Good. For those of you who are, like every good story, it's good to hear it again and again and again. And those of you who are not familiar, you're in for a really wonderful treat. And so let us, again, open our hearts even further as we take in the poignant lessons of these two. We begin.
$1.87. That was all. And 60 cents of it was in pennies. Pennies saved 1 and 2 at a time by bulldozing the grocery and the vegetable man and the butcher until one's cheeks burned with the silent imputation of parsimony that such close dealing implied. 3 times Della counted it, $1.87. And the next day would be Christmas.
There was clearly nothing to do but flop down on a shabby little couch and howl. She felt as though life is made up of sobs, sniffles, and smiles, with sniffles predominating.
While Della slowly moves from weeping to resolve, let's take a look at the home. It is spare in furniture and finery, but abundant in love and care. It is the home of a young couple trying their best to make ends meet. In the vestibule below is a broken doorbell from which no mortal finger could coax a ring. Also in the vestibule is a mailbox with a card bearing the name Jamie and Della Dillingham Young. The rather fancy-sounding Dillingham had been flung to the breeze during a former period of prosperity when Jamie was being paid $30 per week. Now, when the income was shrunk to $20, the letters of Dillingham looked blurred, as though they were thinking seriously of contracting to a modest and unassuming D.
But every night, when Jamie Dillingham Young came home and reached her flat upstairs, she was greatly hugged by Della, which was all very good. Such is love, wondrous love, which sounds a lot like a sound cue.
After all, I've come to know me and the ways of my heart, and the young one that I once was could have torn our love apart. When we're young and always looking at the far side of the hill, you might miss the fairest flower standing by you very still.
must flow like a river. Never hold love back or love will die.
If I'd known as a young one what I know of love today, I'd have laid down in a river, let it wash my soul away. Love, 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 such is love, wondrous love. Love, 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 such is love, wondrous love. Love, 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 such is love,
Such is love,
such is love,
wondrous
wondrous love. Love, 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 such is love, our love. Now we know love.
To Della, who finished her cry and attended to her cheeks with her handkerchief. On this gray day, she stood by the window and looked out at a gray cat walking a gray fence in a gray backyard. Tomorrow would be Christmas. She had been saving every penny she could for months, with this result: only $1.87 with which to buy Jamie a present. Her Jamie. $20 a week doesn't go far. Expenses had been greater than she had calculated. They always are.
Perhaps you've seen a mirror in an $8 a week flat. A very agile person may, by observing their reflection in a rapid sequence of longitudinal strips, obtain a fairly accurate conception of their looks. Della had mastered the art. Suddenly, she whirled from the window and stood before the mirror. Her eyes were shining brilliantly, but her face had lost its color within 20 seconds. Rapidly, she pulled down her hair and let it fall to its full length.
Now Della and Jamie had two possessions in which they both took a mighty pride. One was Jamie's gold watch that had been her father's. The other was Della's hair. Had the Queen of Sheba lived in the flat across the air shaft, Della would have let her hair hang out the window to dry just to depreciate Her Majesty's jewels and gifts. Had King Solomon been the janitor with all his treasures piled up in the basement, Jamie would have pulled out her watch every time he passed, just to see him pluck at his beard from envy.
So now Della's beautiful hair fell about her, rippling and shining like a cascade of brown waters. It was so long that it made itself almost a garment for her. And then she did it up again nervously and quickly. She faltered for a minute and stood still while a tear or two splashed on the worn red carpet.
On went her old brown jacket, on went her old brown hat. With a whirl of skirts and the brilliant sparkle still in her eyes, she fluttered out the door and down the stairs to the street, where she stopped. The sign read, Mr. Sofroni, hair goods of all kinds. One flight up Della ran and collected herself, panting. Madame was too chilly, too pale, and hardly sensitive or kind.
Will you buy my hair?
I buy hair. Take your hat off and let's have a sight at the looks of it.
Down rippled the brown cascade, said Madame, lifting the mass with a practiced hand.
$20.
Give it to me quickly.
Oh, the next 2 hours tripped by on rosy wings. Della ransacked the stores for Jamie's present. She found it at last. It surely had been made for Jamie and no one else. There was no other like it in any of the stores, for she had turned all of them inside out. It was a platinum fob chain, simple in design, properly proclaiming its value by substance alone and not by gaudy ornamentation, as all good things should do. It was even worthy of the watch. As soon as she saw it, she knew it must be Jamie's.
The fob cost $21. She hurried home with 87 cents to spare. With that chain on her watch, Jamie might be properly anxious about the time in any company. Grand as the watch was, she sometimes looked at it on the sly on account of the old leather strap she used in place of a chain.
When Della reached home, her intoxication gave way a little to prudence and reason. She got out her curling irons and lighted the gas and went to work on what hair she had left. A hairstyle made by generosity added to love, which is always a tremendous task, dear friends, a mammoth task. Within 40 minutes, her head was covered with tiny, close-lying curls that made her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. She looked at her reflection in the mirror, long, carefully, and critically. She said out loud,
"When Jamie sees me, she'll say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl. But what could I do? What could I do with $1.87?
At 7 o'clock, the coffee was made and the frying pan was on the back of the stove, hot and ready to cook the chops.
Jamie was never late. Della doubled the fob chain in her hand and sat on the corner of the table near the door. Then she heard her step on the stairway down on the first flight, and she turned white for just a moment. She had a habit of saying silent little prayers about the simplest everyday things, and now she whispered,
Please, God, please make her think I'm still pretty."
The door opened and Jamie stepped in and closed it. She looked thin and very serious. She needed a new overcoat and she was without gloves. Jamie stopped inside the door, as immovable as a setter on a scent of a quail. Her eyes fixed upon Della, and there was an expression in them that she could not read. It was not anger nor surprise, nor any of the sentiments that she had been prepared for. She simply stared at her with that peculiar expression on her face. Della went to her.
"Jamie, don't look at me that way. I had my hair cut off and sold it because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a present. It'll grow again. It'll grow again. Say Merry Christmas and be happy. You don't know what a beautiful, nice gift I got for you."
You cut your hair off?
asked Jamie, as if she had not arrived at that fact even after the hardest mental labor.
Cut it off and sold it. Don't you like me just as well anyhow? I'm me without my hair, aren't I?
Jamie looked about the room curiously.
You say you cut your hair off?
You needn't look for it. It's sold. It's gone. Sold and gone. It's Christmas Eve. Be good to me, for it went for you. Maybe the hairs on my head were numbered, but nobody could ever count the love that I have for you.
Out of her trance, Jamie seemed quickly to wake. She hugged Della.
As if on cue, at that very moment, a little band of players gathered on the street below, their melody floating up to Della and Jamie. When the music ended, Jamie drew a package from her overcoat pocket.
Don't make any mistakes about me, Del. I don't think there's anything you could do, a haircut, a shampoo, that can make me love you less. But when you unwrap that package, you'll see why you had me going at first.
Stella tore at the package, and then an ecstatic scream of joy, and then, alas, there came tears.
For there lay the combs, the set of combs that Della had admired for so long in a Broadway window. Beautiful combs, pure shell with jeweled rims, just the shade to wear in her beautiful vanished hair. They were expensive combs, she knew, and her heart had simply caved and yearned over them without the least hope of possession. And now they were hers, but the tresses that should have adorned the coveted adornments were gone. She hugged them close, and at length she was able to say,
My hair grows so fast, Jamie.
And then Della leapt up like a little singed cat. Jamie had not yet seen her beautiful present. She held it out to her eagerly upon her open palm. The dull, precious metal seemed to flash with a reflection of her bright and ardent spirit.
Isn't it a dandy? I hunted all over town to find it. You'll have to look at the time 100 times a day. Give me your watch. I want to see how it looks on it.
Jamie just looked at her and smiled.
Let's put our presents away for a while. They're too nice to use right now. Del, I sold the watch to get the money for the combs.
The Magi, as you know, were wise men who brought gifts to the baby. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents.
And here we have shared the story of Della and Jamie, who sacrificed for each other the greatest treasures of their house.
But in a last word to the wise of these days, let it be said that of all who give gifts, these two were the wisest. Of all who give and receive gifts, such as they are wisest.
Everywhere they are wisest. They are the Magi.
So ends the story. Thank you to Sally and to Heidi and to Kyle and to my Kate. Thank you, Kate. And to Bill. Thank you. And thank you to all the musicians who shared the story and the atmospheric beauty of the story. Paul and Kathy and Becky and Jonathan. Thank you. And now we prepare for our offering. We take up an offering every week to support the work of the congregation, and we begin with these words. We give to the work of all souls. Our work weaves the fabric of love called community. To this end, we dedicate ourselves and this our offering. The offering will be gratefully received.
So pretty. For all that you have shared and all that you have sacrificed, thank you. So this morning we do indeed have time for the creation and sustenance of beloved community. We do this part of our liturgy to remind ourselves, to remind each other that part of the commitment that we make to each other and to this community is to create and sustain beloved community, and one way we do that is to bear witness to each other's lives, the joy and sorrow we live with and through. And so those of you in the online pews, feel free to write into the chat what you'd like to have shared here. And those of you here in Unity Hall, as you are moved, you are invited to come forward and light a candle of intention. You'll see that there are far fewer candles than there are typically. So if there are no candles there when you get there, just add your light to the light that is already ignited. So we open the circle in this time for the creation and sustenance of beloved community. Let's prepare our hearts for what is to be shared. In the online pews, Jean Gerbert asks that we think of her sister-in-law facing a stroke and cancer. Oh, Jean, I'm sorry for that double whammy. I'm sorry. We will be thinking of her and your whole family. Heidi Carrier asks for prayers and healing energy for her mother, Joan, who has been here in the hall often as she's experiencing the worsening progression of Parkinson's disease. We are thinking of your beloved mother, Heidi, and of you too. Peter Cooper expresses joy to see winter again. He wants to find some open air, some open water for a quick dip. You'll all remember that Peter was rhapsodizing about the cold weather just a week or two ago. Heidi asks again, of course, Heidi, this makes complete sense, for continued strength for her father, who is caring for her mother, Joan. Yes, of course, we can't forget the caretakers. And Sandy Cohn asks for good thoughts and prayers for Michelle as she enters a new phase of breast cancer treatment. And so we hold all who are moving through that treatment phase, knowing that it takes so much out of a person, just the treatment itself. Thank you, Sandy. Let us enter into a communion of prayer and meditation together. Blessed Spirit of life and of love, here felt deep in winter, may the cool air be met with warm hearts, with open minds, with the patience for what is yet to come. As the poet said, let us not wish away winter. Let us revel in its power, knowing that it will bring the spring soon enough. We hold in these open hearts those who are grieving, those who are troubled, worried, scared. Just as we hold the joy in the hearts of many, the triumph, the relief. May these be woven fine in this hour, in this space, and beyond. And may we be reminded this day and every day to give thanks. To give thanks for life, for this very day, for all that we mean to each other, stranger and friend both. And let us pour that out into the world as together we say, Amen. Amen. close this circle in this time by joining our voices in song. I invite you to rise in body and or in spirit, and we will sing Old Lang Syne. Why we only sing that once a year, right? It's so beautiful. Sally, will you extinguish the chalice as we speak these words together? Oh, is there no slide for the extinguishing of the chalice, Adam? Okay, then we'll see how much we remember. It says ended, but our work is not yet done. May our spirits be resolved and our resolved as we meet the challenges of the week. Our chalice flame is extinguished until once again ignited by the strength of our communion. Thank you for whoever got us started. I could not remember the start, so thank you, whoever it was who remembered that start. And so those of you in the online pews, now we are indeed sending forth. I invite you to hold your hearts and reach out to the world and folks beyond. That would be us, those in Unity Hall. Hands out. We'll take a cup of kindness, yet. We will share that cup of kindness, yet. For the sake of this community, for the sake of our country, for the sake of the world. We go in peace, and we're going to do that kiss of peace out to the earth, right? And back up, go in peace, and return again with great joy. Amen. Amen. I invite you to be seated for the postlude. Okay, there are announcements, but not many. Not many. If you are new, hey, if you are new here for the first time and you'd like to learn more about All Souls or about Unitarian Universalism, Lynn is making her way to the welcome table and she will greet you and talk with you about all of those things. Next week, January 5th, is a Belonging and Becoming, which is a session that we hold for relative newcomers, people thinking about deepening their connection and commitment to All Souls and to Unitarian Universalism. It's about an hour and a half long session. These sessions have been really very meaningful, and if you are interested in that, you can talk to Lynn, or Alex is also here, the chair of our membership committee. Next week, I am preaching. I will be here. I hope that you will be too. And in the meantime, have the happiest of the new year coming in. And you know, the wisdom this year is stay hydrated. Keep drinking water. Keep drinking water. Here comes the new year, ready or not. Here we go. Thank you so much for being here. Those of you in the online pews, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next week.